So what about long COVID? My name's Hannah Studley from the Mind Body Institute, and I'm making a series of videos about different chronic health conditions or mind body issues where people are really suffering. And maybe these ideas that help me get pain free after 25 years of chronic pain, maybe they'll help you. So, long COVID. I had several clients with long COVID, and I'm going to tell you the story of one of them. A young man, a businessman. He was he is a father of a young boy, and he has his own business with 50 employees. Very successful, and he had long COVID for 2 years. He hadn't left the house in 2 years when I met him. He couldn't get off the sofa. His wife was having to run the company, and he that chronic fatigue, like that, no energy. He said at one point his lips were turning blue. He'd called the paramedics, and they said, unless you've stopped breathing, we can't come to you, because at the time, everybody was suffering so much. And so he hadn't left the house in 2 years, apart from a few medical trips. He hadn't played with his kid outside. He certainly hadn't driven a car when I first met him. So we started talking about how the mind works. And you're probably thinking, well, what's that got to do with fatigue and energy? And I can tell you that he did know a little bit about what I was pointing to. So we dived deep into understanding how the mind works and how experience is actually created. Now, one of the things he actually taught me was the idea of pacing. He lived near Oxford, and Oxford University had a wonderful long COVID unit. And so they were doing a lot of amazing work helping people to learn how to pace themselves. Because if you have limited energy and you have to do a few things today, like have a shower, which can be overwhelming when you're so tired, they were teaching people how to pace themselves. But what I started noticing when he was talking about pacing ourselves, that yes, he was lying on the sofa or in bed most of the day, but he was also on his phone and watching Netflix, the remote control for the TV, and his laptop was open and he was still trying to do some of his business. I'm like, dude, you're not resting, right? So we started to see that there was such a thing as inner speed and outer speed. Yes, his outer speed had slowed down because he physically had to. He didn't have the bandwidth, the energy to do his regular day. So yes, he was physically lying down, but his mind was still going 100 miles an hour. And what I learned about long COVID is, please, if I've got this wrong, tell me. But what I learned was the people who got long COVID were not the people who went to hospital. I mean, admitted to hospital. The people who were admitted to hospital were, on breathing machines. They were very, isolated. But the people who stayed home, who got long COVID, what were they doing all day? They were watching the news, they were scrolling on Instagram, they were looking on Facebook, they were looking everywhere for information, trying to find out what the latest thing is. Oh my gosh, you won't believe what's happened now. I mean, I didn't have it, but I got tired of hearing about lockdowns and who was, secluded, and who what the latest thing was about vaccines. It was unbearable. So think about it. If you're spending all day listening to this really negative information and you're scaring yourself, what is that doing to the brain? What if it's like sending danger message to the brain that there's something wrong? Well, as soon as he stopped doing that, as soon as his inner speed slowed down, he got better. And after not leaving the house for 2 years, he was able to go back to work, just a few hours each day at a time. And then just as we finished our time coaching together, he had a family wedding in Sweden. This guy's in England, remember? And because he's a very green kind of responsible kind of guy, he got the train. He got the train all the way from London to Sweden for this family wedding and had a great time and got back all in one piece. And now he's back to his business, flying around the world, doing amazing stuff. If you want to hear more about that, his name's Marcus, and his video is on my YouTube channel. So that's what I wanted to share with you. What if it's about the quality of your mind? What if the quality of your thinking? What if your brain thinks you're in danger 24/7? It's going to keep you exhausted trying to fix that. So what if our brain is trying to actually help us by sending us these, very yucky physical messages? We slow down, we come back to the moment, and we can get better. Everybody has innate health. You do too. So if you have any questions, if this seems a little bit too simple for your situation, let me know. Ask me questions. I'd be happy to answer, so please reach out. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.